All right,
All right, we'll go ahead and start. This is our monthly EDA meeting. It's April 23rd. Do a roll call
Rylan,
here.
Jamie, Paul,
Here.
Adam.
Here.
Jeff,
Here.
Jan.
Here.
And Kathy. Here. Perfect. Then we do also have our city administrator in attendance.
And Jamie said that she would be running late.
Okay, perfect.
All right, we have an agenda in front of us there. I would like to add one item under new business. Something we've talked about, but I think it's in the past, but I think we should just start putting some emphasis on it. That's for a branding program for Orinoco. Whether it's a grant funding or a 2025 budget item. Discuss the possibilities there, so. Any other comments? Seeing none, I make a motion, we approve the April 23rd agenda as amended. Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved? Yeah, the March meeting notes, March 26th meeting notes.
Make a motion to approve. And written.
Second,
Second.
Paul. Okay. Comments? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? That's approved. Jason, you're a guest. You want to make any comments? None?
Hi,
Oh, you, okay, thank you.
I'm excited for you guys to get going and, to help out the city and to see where we can go with this. So EDA is a great thing. I'm glad that this is going and I'm looking forward to working with you guys and really kind of moving the city forward.
Can I ask, so city administrator, did you say? Is that your role? I don't even know really what that means. What is that,
City administrator, city manager, kind of help just the overall function of the city and making sure that we are going in the right direction.
sure,
I'm the go-to between council, and the employees of the city, basically, it's the way the city's set up. It's kind of the quick and dirty version of it.
sure, you're an employee of the city?
Yes,
And, okay.
so I
operate-
basically help run the city.
Yeah.
Through the council, what the city council wants done. They say they have their vision and they say, Jason, make it happen.
Nice to meet
And then I
you.
go out and I get to work with the other groups and
Yeah.
to make it happen. So,
Sounds like a cool job.
yeah, it's fun. It's busy. So
Have you been a city administrator before?
I have not. I've got an educational background in it. I'm working on my doctorate and I've got a master's in administration. I've spent years doing that. My previous 11 years have been in law enforcement and city government work. So I've been involved in various community programs back in South Dakota where I'm from. So I spent a lot of time with government and city work.
In any of your background, have you worked with EDAs before?
Yeah,
What's been highlights or good things that have come of it?
the big things, and most of them are established programs, and so a lot of it, the biggest ones that I think have come out of it are they help with the 10-year programs and really help with the development of the town and where they see communities, facilities that are in need, and they help with the infrastructure of the town, basically. And I know that's one area that we need to focus on is creating that 10-year plan, and I know I've discussed it with her as well. So things like that. And then there's other community development programs that they'll put on. And I know she's got some ideas for some of those too, that I've seen that have worked pretty well. So, but just being a partner, and a lot of the times you'll see in cities, the EDA and the Chamber of Commerce work hand in hand with a lot of stuff, and the chamber's there to help promote businesses within inside the town. We're a smaller town, we don't really have that functionality yet. So it's one of those things that the EDA kind of picks up a lot of what you'd see a chamber do as well.
Yep.
So.
And does everybody just want to real quick share your name?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
introduce yourself.
Unless they want to.
Just state your name and maybe your business or occupation, whatever the case may be.
Yep, I'm Jeff Shupe and I own Shot Tracy Signs right here.
Okay.
Jan Tronson.
Paul Pendergrass.
Adam Beatty?
I'm Kathy Gable and I own a small home healthcare business in southeast Iowa, but I'm retired living in Warren Grove.
Okay.
We met at the meet and greet for city managers.
Okay.
Right on. Still. So Jason's been here about 3 weeks,
Month.
a month now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
25th was my start date, 24th, 25th, so.
So it's good.
I missed the last meeting because I got snowed in Brookings the first couple of days. I
Oh,
had
that's
to do
right.
all work from home stuff. So. Wonderful ice storm a month ago.
All right, excellent. Well, there's a lot of opportunities for us and we got the bylaws out of our way now, so that was
Yes.
kind of, and the surveys, and in your packet, there's some great results and we'll probably get to that sometime tonight. First item is I don't believe we have any vacancies.
No, this is just an update that Kathy was approved at our last city council meeting, so we actually have a completely full and official roster. So congrats on that, everybody.
Thanks. Nice to have you here
Yeah.
and all
thank
that
you.
experience.
Thank you. We'll see.
The last meeting, did you share the experiences with the group here?
I did, yeah.
I thought you did, okay. Yeah.
Like the only one that wasn't here would be Adam.
I was here at the last meeting.
I wasn't
there. Jeff was not here.
Jeff wasn't here.
Jeff, just a quick minute synopsis of your EDA.
I moved here from southeast Iowa. I own a small home healthcare business. Well, it's a small business, but it's a large business for that area. I've been in the city economic development. I was president of it. I also was in the Lee County Economic Development. And down there, we brought in several major manufacturers to the area while I was on either or. And plus help sustain businesses that were maybe being bought out or whatever or sold by a company, and, it was either close the doors or find local ownership, those kinds of things. The community I lived in was about 10,000 people and the county was probably about 35,000. So the most recent accomplishment is they just finished a fantastic marina. If anybody's out on the Mississippi River down by Fort Madison, Iowa this summer, that was the latest economic development project that was done. So they really pretty progressive group of economic development people in a pretty suppressed area.
Yeah,
So,
great.
yeah.
Okay. Community engagement,
All right, in your packets, you should have a nice chunk of data hiding in there. They are categorized by color, so demographics is one color, transportation's another. We'll kind of organize the full report that way, just to kind of give it some, make it look pretty.
Yeah, it is. I like the color.
So what will happen after this is each one of these pieces of data are going to be analyzed individually. We'll be able to, I'll go through and discuss like what the findings are from each individual piece. And then each one will also have recommendations then for moving forward and different possibilities for programming or grants that we could apply for. So those will, obviously with demographics, it's a little different. We won't be doing anything with that, but just knowing even the number of older to younger or how many families we have, those kind of things will be able to help us figure out what kind of amenities are going to be the most beneficial for the community as a whole. So I've started the process of doing all of that, but I didn't have enough done for me to feel like you guys would get much out of it from today. So I figured this is all of the answers to all of the questions.
Now, this is the survey that was taken at the fire hall, okay.
Yep.
It's very interesting.
And there were some online questions too. It was online
Yep.
too.
Yep, and those are all compiled together in here.
Does it give any breakdown of how many were in person or how many showed up versus how many were online?
Well, online, I had 120, 24, 23, 100 and some got, 120 some got returned. And then we had about 45 people who were at the in-person event. And the report will also have a section at the beginning of it that will explain what the planning process was that went into it. What, cost, the budget, all of that, just so future needing to look back, it'll have the entire process of what we did in there.
Just a quick question too. So the demographics, like, for instance, the first one, gender, and the second one, age, 107 and 115 people. But you said 123 and 45 people?
That's how many took them in altogether. They'll all have probably different numbers next to them because there were a lot of questions that people would skip. So it's just a matter of how many people answered that specific question.
Okay.
Because a lot of these questions were only asked on the physical survey. They were dealt with in other ways, like we did pull data from the in-person event, but it wasn't quite as by the number,
Got it.
if that makes sense.
Can we keep asking questions about the data?
You ask all you want, everything you want to know, let's do it.
Awesome.
Maybe I'll have a million questions, but in the third, adults versus children, does that mean in the first thing, it says no children, does that mean no children answered the questions? Or they don't have children?
They don't have children.
So if of 119, 58 people, roughly 55, 58 answered, but the demographics, but the question right above it suggests there's a lot of older families
Mhm.
or older adults that don't have any children. Is that an accurate
Yes,
statement?
yep.
If you look at the second circle with the age of 115 people, if you add up 66 to 74 and 75 plus, that's 28.8%, almost 30% are
Yeah.
above 65,
And
66.
Yeah, 40 retired was surprising to see that high of a number.
Yeah,
too.
I saw
Right,
that
I was
too.
surprised to see that. We have
No, granted.
an older demographic.
Yeah.
relative.
Granted, people who are older also have a little more, if they're retired, or have a little more time on their hands to do things like filling out surveys and attending
Sure.
these kind of events. So there is also that kind of factored in, but
Well, this is showing, like he said,
mhm,
like you said, older people have take the time to respond. Our demographics in our city, if I recall, it's like 36 years old, something like that, Riley?
Median age,
Median
yeah.
age.
What is it?
That's what the census
Median.
says,
yep.
Is what in Orinoco?
It's like
36.
36 or something.
Wow.
But I think you make a good point about the time to fill out surveys versus I'm too busy to do this.
Yeah, so it's just another factor that try to keep in mind for it, so.
Although under current employment status, 60% or 60 people who responded were employed full-time, so still have.
Surprise, surprise, medical was the most common comment.
So you can make
Job.
just about anything you want.
Yeah, you really can. Yeah,
But we need to be mindful of that too, when we look at stuff.
Highly educated too.
Yeah.
Four-year
Yeah,
PhD,
that's-
Master's degree,
that's,
I mean, that's well over half. But medical will,
Well, this is the kind of information that'll be available with your analysts on our website then, or
Yep,
available to the public, right?
yep, absolutely.
Overall.
And technically, this information you guys can share this information as freely as you'd like. Because the actual document will be the one that we'll put up on the final document will be the one that we'll put up on the website. But if people want to use this information, they're more than welcome to see it, so.
it's coming from, go ahead, Jan.
What I find really unusual is that the age, the demographic, or the age of, the majority is 35 and older. And I go to the veteran status and only out of that whole group, there's the veterans like don't exist. I find that really odd of that,
Or they didn't respond.
or but I'm saying is when I look at that.
Yeah.
I thought it would be
Twenty
higher
percent
too.
of all that group of the big thing that aren't veterans, wow,
Yeah, I was surprised by the number on there too.
I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
And what they wanna see here is, like I said, they want a grocery store, a Quick Trip would come to town. Here's your grocery store. And a lot of things that, I don't know if Quick Trip will, but ever would, but who knows if it could grow.
Yeah, I use that for my grocery store quite often.
Well, I mean, the amount of the different things, I mean, it would be it would put someone else out of business, another gas station.
Right.
And it would put people that are in
One-
business
one-
here out of business. I don't know what Casey's, but I think the other one would be
Shell.
Of the three, one of the three.
Shaw. I see the bus companies up and got their garage,
Yeah.
and they're in there now and
Nice looking building.
finishing up some things. It looks very nice there.
Would it take much to add page numbers?
No, and I thought about it after I printed it. So there will be page numbers.
This helps.
Yes, and the top area sections will also have the section that it's in on top as well, so,
It's green section.
yes. So all the green ones will say economic development on top of the page too for the big existing dock.
I think you did a beautiful job on it.
Thank you.
Very easy to read, very easy to understand.
Yeah.
And if you
I
do
look
see
forward to
anything
going
that is
through it.
really hard to read, I tried to make all of everything legible, big enough. So if you do see anything, please let me know, because I can still adjust all of these, so.
The other thing that I comment would be is the percentages are kind of light. So if it gets copied 2 or 3 times,
Oh,
you
yeah.
could lose the percentage for people that want to share copies
So are you
versus.
talking about these little percentage numbers?
Yeah, next to the graphs.
Yeah, make it a little darker.
A little bit darker, yeah.
Maybe instead of darker, maybe put it in green or something like that. So
Okay.
stand out a little bit. Or a red or something.
So I have a question on all this with the Indians buying the property, which is in Orinoco. Let's see, I think some of it's in Orinoco.
It's all Pine Island.
It's all Pine Island. Okay. I was just, cause I know the line there on the road where it darkens, okay, some of that, I was, okay, then it's all. Cause I was just kind of curious on EDA, that they'd be more related to Pine Island than doing them versus us.
So the Indian community was really smart over there. They bought all of the stuff inside the right of ways, so Pine Island still owns the right of ways. So Pine Island has to maintain the right of ways without collecting a tax on it.
That's true, yeah.
Well, I knew that, I knew that.
It's like us,
said,
our houses, we know the streets or
Mhm.
streets.
I'm not sure I know what you're referring.
The bridge to nowhere.
All of the properties on the bridge to nowhere, the Prairie Island Indian community bought.
So the-
It's all
Pine
fixed.
Island,
Just north of
Prairie
Orinoco, here
Island.
right on the highway.
is that Native American? Okay.
They're turning the land, they're getting through Congress to make sure that it is, turns into a reservation. That's they're still I haven't heard it finished, but they were working on through Congress to be able to turn that into a reservation, which that's 117 or however many acres it is out of the county tax, which is gonna,
Well, is where's this, so is this land like between here and Pine Island? down
right,
there?
in other words, we see all the fenced in land, it used to have elk there.
Yeah,
So all that fenced in land is what the
Okay.
Indians have now purchased, if my understanding. I don't know if it's both sides of the highway. I thought it was, is it both sides?
Not,
It's both
it's
sides
a
of
little bit on the west side, but not as much as on the.
Not
other
as
side.
much, but anyway, so we call it the bridge to nowhere. Because they did that because the last developer come and had the idea that Mayo was gonna move out there, Hormel was coming, they were gonna search, it was gonna be a city.
bridge to nowhere.
It was gonna be a city inside of a city. And so then the state decided they'd come put the infrastructure in for this big development. I mean, it was a huge thing in the paper and, you know, ideas of grandeur, how this was all gonna be, and
Okay,
it all went south real quick.
They never
gotcha.
sold a building permit.
And then another party bought it.
So the Indians now own it all.
I think the
And
Indians. are the
so-
first party.
All that land inside the fences will be all reservation with their own laws, their own, everything, just like down in,
Be
Right away.
interesting if that happens, but
Well, it's gonna happen.
is it
It's going to happen.
soon?
Well, they have to get their sovereign status.
Okay.
Several years yet, so.
I think sovereignty
It's gonna be a
takes
while.
10 years.
Are they,
So
are
the
they,
tournament itself is up around the Treasure Island.
okay, that was
That's
my
the Prairie
question.
Island Indian community.
Okay.
And they're landlocked because of the river and also because of the nuclear power plant. So they have, the state gave them the ability to look for new housing within 50-mile radius to use money to fund purchasing of land within 50-mile radius for residents. And so they originally bought it. That was the intent, was to move people down here or build residents for like 1,200 homes or something like that.
Does it help to get them away from the power plant?
To get away in case there's a problem.
Yeah.
A lot of people that don't
no
live on,
kidding.
that don't live on the reservation either.
Pretty legit.
So we're trying to get them to one community, so. So we've talked to them a couple of different times. One was when they first bought it about 5 years ago. Just being a good neighbor because they border our city limits right with their city
Mhm.
limits. So we talked to them. They came back here last fall. They talked to the council again and just kind of gave us an update. They're still working on getting their sovereign. But they did tell us that they're working on 2 land use plans, one for residential, one for a casino. So we know that's gonna happen. It's just a matter of years from now, so.
You said it affects the tax base. How much tax do we get on that property?
Well, we
now?
don't, it's the county, but I'm just saying, when you take that much acreage out and you do that, this county's gonna have to make that money up somewhere.
But the county doesn't, does the county lease it now, or how does the county
No,
make
it's,
money? off it?
It's private.
the farm is private, whatever, the farmer rents it. and he-
Okay,
he
so it's
plants the
rented
crops on
farm
it.
ground
He
now.
rents on it to do
Okay.
that, but in the future, again, you say 10 years for sovereignty, my whole point when that comes through, that's a huge chunk of property that comes out of someone's tax base that, you gotta make, the money's gonna have to come somewhere, cause that's been in your budget. And it's no longer there, so that's a deficit, so now you gotta go,
I don't know how much it affects the tax base, because a lot of that was agriculture land to start with.
Yeah,
So the
that's what
tax
I was
base
gonna
would be
say.
high on it.
2 houses on it, it makes up for the whole 100 acres.
Okay, so let's,
we move on.
it's an interesting topic.
Interesting, well, I appreciate
Yeah.
the background in it, because I had no idea. I drove by the tall fences, knew there used to be elk or buffalo or something there, and that's
yeah,
about
They're
all.
actually like 1,600 acres.
Wow.
Isn't it, Riley? It's about 1,600 acres, isn't it?
That they bought,
Yeah.
could be, I thought it was
I have a
12.
map, I had a map at home. I had.
Oh,
one of the
1,200, 1,600,
township-
okay.
Dan's at 120, 140.
An hour or so you can
Well,
Google.
it's over
Yeah,
1,000.
no kidding, I will,
Well,
maybe.
Okay, let's,
All right.
but they were talking to us, basically, they're, we know if that happens, how it affects our economic development. I said, yes, we're working on economic development too, so. Just being good neighborly, so that's why they were visiting with us, so.
so back to this.
Let's see, any other questions on the data? Otherwise, any questions can get sent on to me. If you've got comments, if there's something you want me to make sure that I go deeper into on any of these, you could certainly let me know. Obviously, I'll be going through and doing a narrative and analysis for each one of these sections, but if there is something specific that you'd like to see, just let me know and I'll make sure that that gets included. I do not believe I will have the full first draft for the next meeting, just because it would only be 4 days to do it. But for sure by the following, I should have that.
All right. EDA bylaws.
All right, those are on here because those were approved. So we have official bylaws now. Congratulations to all of you.
Next item is our Cedar Woodlands development.
For this, I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew I was able to have a sit down with Ryland and Ari. Ari is, I'm trying to understand what he,
His company owns it.
yeah, but it's not Hamilton anymore.
No, it's HELLASIDG. Helas IDG.
Okay.
I think it's a larger national corporation.
Gotcha. Sorry, he hasn't updated his business cards yet, so I'm still catching on to all that, but either way, they came in just to talk about the the Cedar Woodlands development, just kind of show us a map, talk about the different possibilities that they had for the area, as far as the types of housing and
So for everybody's awareness,
Thank you.
this is probably the most descriptive. So here's, Minnesota Avenue, River, here's Gas and Go. Here's, Two Sisters resident, Lynn's Motor Coach. And this here is a 43-acre Victor Scott estate. See, that, is over here. There's a couple of residential or commercial developments off of Second Avenue. And then, there'll be some quad homes in here. R2, and then some, part of this is going to be, twin homes. And then some single-family homes through here with, reduced lot sizes. And there's 5 homes that are large lots compared to the lots across the street. So, so there's going to be R1, R2, and a couple B2 down here. So that's the general.
When you say quad homes, is that just like a
Fourplex type.
fourplex, like a,
Yeah, fourplex or with garages in front.
It's like a townhome.
would they be rental property or like a zero lot line? People own them
They have
individually?
a,
Zero lot lines, that's town.
Zero lot line, but not an association.
but there's like 44 twin homes. And there's a lot of flexibility in the plans too. They're gonna start working from the west to the east. And as, if the quads take off, or maybe the twin homes take off, it may replace some of these smaller lots, or if it doesn't, maybe we'll put more single family.
Right.
So,
A little more dense than the neighboring neighborhoods of Cedarwood.
yeah,
and
right now, this is, the way it's plotted, it's like 136 units. What's
And
the starting
lower,
point, so.
and lower priced than, I mean, a more affordable house for somebody with less.
Yeah, I think that's with the smaller lots, but they'll still be in that 350 range, probably something like that.
I think 350 is probably as low as you can get these
About
days.
a starting point for new.
That's something.
Mhm.
You say, not much of it's affordable anymore, but.
No, exactly. But I did think that the way they had this laid out was really, really interesting, just in the fact they have so many different types of housing available and the fact that they can be as flexible. So like Ryland said, if one type of housing really takes off and we need more of it right away, they can actually adjust their,
I would say based on your retirement number, the one level walk-in.
Level town.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did they say, Ryland, is there a general time frame for when they actually start moving earth around or is that
Well,
ways away?
it's, they brought in their general development plan, and it was, for the most part, it was a consensus by P and Z that it was, let's do, make it happen. So we're
Yeah.
waiting for the preliminary plots
Yep.
to come in and start that process and rezoning, and, because right now it's all, well, right now I think it's all R1, but our future land calls it for B2, R2, R1, so
Okay.
there'll be multiple public hearings and rezoning.
Are they putting in the business structures too then, and the,
I don't know, they'll do that
Okay.
themselves. I think they're looking at different developers. I don't think it's gonna be one vendor,
gotcha.
one developer for the whole, they could be multiple developers. Contractors, I should say.
Mm.
But there'll be different builders in there too, I imagine.
Builders, yeah.
Mhm.
The smaller lot could be in that 75-foot to 90-foot range, which is very popular in Rochester, that if you go up to Century Hills by Century High School, those are, you know, medium to high-end homes on 75-foot lots, so they'll still be nice lots. So.
Nice.
What's the density, people? Density?
I'm just, you've seen 136 units.
Okay,
2.6 people per home.
Right.
On average, I believe,
sure.
nationwide or.
No, that's a lot. That's a chunk at a time.
A multi-year project.
Yeah.
Right.
And they want to begin with infrastructure to get this year, so.
Yeah.
That's why they want to start at the west, because the infrastructure is along the road. They can just extend the infrastructure as they go back.
Sure. And then you said you're gonna up Second and then also probably Cedar Point Road. You said they're gonna access it through here, Ryland?
Yeah, there's an access off of Second Avenue. And then
Pretty
there'll
close
be
to the dog-
multiple ones.
Dog kennel, the dog kennel building property, is
Yeah,
that?
just south of it.
It borders it.
Okay, cool.
And it borders that home on the far.
There's a
side of the
little-
Woods.
You drive down Second Avenue directly across from the lumber yard.
Yep.
You'll see a little
Yep,
inlet
okay,
going in already, so
okay.
that's where the curb stop is at for the sewer water. Um,
Now,
yeah, so that's gonna be started, so.
this is Orinoco, but as Orinoco, do we cover Orinoco Township too? It's just Orinoco, okay.
Right,
Because
township.
Orinoco Township's being developed between here and Sargent's. And that has
18th
nothing,
Avenue, yeah.
yeah, it has nothing to do with us.
No.
Okay,
It's just the city of Orinoco is an Orinoco Township, which so
okay,
from a newspaper standpoint, if something happens in the township, it comes across as Orinoco.
Orinoco
gotcha.
gets credit for everything that happens in the township. if it's
Okay.
Negative.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now, there's Rochester Township, but I don't know if part of it's in Rochester or not, but
You see, Orinoco Township starts at 75th Street and comes this way.
yes.
Comes
Okay.
up to the state, comes up to the county line up here, you know.
There's a township map over there, I think.
And it starts from here and goes over a mile inside of 63.
Okay,
Quick question about so we had this in there, which I love because it gives us an idea of something that happened, you know, that's a development thing inside of the city. I can't remember if we talked about this in the past, but there's a fine line between things that are being talked about and things that are
Mhm.
filing for permits, you know, and we all, you know, had the conversations about, you know, if a developer is looking around and, you know, maybe don't say anything and keeping it quiet until it gets a little bit further down, so they don't let the cat out of the bag, so to speak. Can we have a standing, either new business, or somewhere in here where we do talk about any and all things just like this? I mean, maybe if it gets to I don't know where the line is, you know, if it gets to the permitting phase or if it gets to they approached P and Z, or I don't know where it
Yeah,
is.
that's a good
but-
question. And the experience that happened with this development here is, myself and Joe, both of us have been working with Hamilton for 2-3 years now. But those responses were basically centered around sewer. When can we hook up? When's when's the sewer gonna be available? When can we, so we've been, you know, when is it gonna start? When we could tell them that, you know, and so where's our connection? Well, the design says it's gonna be here off of Second Avenue. But up until, you know, it's just verbal. We never saw any concept drawings till I met with them, in late August last year. So they showed me a piece of paper and I said, okay, they want to go to P and Z. So, which was the next week. So I got on the agenda to introduce them to P and Z, and that's when they first started having the discussions about what they were thinking about from a concept. They were going to get some feedback. And, if you remember, right, the first one had an apartment building in it. Well, they got immediate feedback, so they picked up on that, and wasn't meant to be, or sometime down the future when we have the equipment, fire equipment, stuff like that, so. So they came to council, came back to P and Z another time. Well, we're looking about this. What do you think about this? It's all public information because they were in front of P and Z, so. That's what kind of prompted, but. And I don't know what the right answer to your question is. I don't know
Would it
from
be
your
helpful if
experience.
I put a section in where we literally just go over like city business updates?
Yeah,
So I think what you're looking at is, it's something where they've made public already.
probably,
And that
yeah.
is, you know, it's on them. Once they decide to make it public, then the cat's out of the bag, like Brandon said, like, it's already public
Right,
knowledge. So, you know, free to talk about. And I think with EDA coming in, there'll be a lot more maybe wanting to appear in front of EDA, because I'm sure they'll be working with you behind the scenes, as you might have experience with that too, of building up the community and building up those relationships. So that way, when they come public, they're already, you know, steps ahead of getting into the process. And you guys will probably already know or have an insight to what's going on. But then that's when we really start to talk about it in the meetings.
I think what Jeff might be getting at too is there's a point where until they've purchased the land, they're probably not gonna let that cat out of the bag. So they're not gonna wanna reveal that. There's certain things that they're not gonna reveal in the right time.
unless they did something publicly within P and Z or whatever, then we can, I mean, that's on them that they express that, but yeah, I just think generally speaking, if our entire purpose of EDA is future thought of trying to attract things in here. But someone, a developer, anybody, didn't even talk to the EDA, and they're just going straight to the city. And then, you know, we're the last to find out. That just seems like kind of a backwards
Mhm.
thing. Oh,
Well, and I guess we can also have a chit chat, like if someone comes in and speaks with Renee, I mean, she's got a bunch of my business cards too, so she'll always be able to just say, hey, here's here's our EDA director and connect them over, so we can certainly encourage her to do that too. I'm sure she'd love to get some stuff off of her plate, so.
And isn't EDA new to Orinoco? Yeah,
Mhm.
so just some learning,
Yep.
but in just some adjusting, because I can see where the cities had to handle it all up until now and kind of easy to forget you got somebody to help you out at the city level.
You know, we had the situations when Casey's and People's Co-op came to town too, so. Those were some big projects that the city took on without EDA,
Mm-hmm.
so it's,
Work with the city, yeah.
yeah, it's worked out very well.
I mean, I get it's tough too, because we don't really make any policy or change or, you know,
Right.
anything. So for a developer, it's probably a PR move for them versus,
PR and relationship building.
and yeah,
Like this conversation we had with Hamilton when they were here. As investors and developers, they'll be coming to the city asking for a TIF or tax abatement type thing. And we touched on it briefly. No commitments, of course, but say, yeah, that usually happens, and that's what their experience is working with other cities as well, so.
A lot of times when it comes to things like that, they'll come to an EDA meeting too, not because we can do anything for them, but because we can at least send a recommendation to council. Like, hey, EDA has actually taken a chance to look at all this, and just so you know, we really would like to see it happen. Or vice versa, and so.
EDA might have a contact for them to
Mhm.
come up with some kind of grant money to make things move forward.
Yeah.
Their direction too.
And that's a lot of the purpose with these committees too, is you guys are the forefront of the work, you're meeting, greeting, put stuff together, so you can go to council and go, hey, we met with them, this is what they're proposing, we're recommending this. And it'll get through our office as well to get on the agenda, and we'll have a little more information. And our office works with the committees, with you guys, to come together to council, to present to council, go, hey, this is all the information, and it makes it easier for council to speed up their process on their end, hopefully,
Exactly.
to make the approvals and have all the information they need available to make those approvals and move forward quickly with it.
is there a resource, like I know, a lot of cities that we work with have, a spot that you can go and look at permits, a filing of a permit. Do we have that in Orinoco?
We don't right now.
I don't quite understand. your
Fees
ask.
good?
Permit
Have-
itself.
You can
Every-
apply for them online.
We have stuff online, right here at City Hall, we've got a whole stack of all of our permits are available, so I don't know what you're exactly asking.
Of permits that are pending, so like City of Rochester,
Oh,
you can see a project 2 years in advance from a contractor that had applied for a permit then and there, and it might take 2 years to come to fruition, or they applied for a variance or conditional use permits or whatever. You can see all of that transparently in a lot of cities, actually. And I know that's public information because we have been called on permits that we filed in cities that don't have it public. And then we get a call from someone else asking us if we filed it, and, you know, or they call the city directly and they say, did so-and-so file a permit for this particular thing that we're doing? So I was just wondering if, because that's another way for, on our own, you know, if it was out there somewhere that we could just go look at it and then, oh, well, that's going on. And
Little city world, you know, that's really predicated by, they apply the permit, they get a permit for the preliminary plat, and then it's a matter of just setting up a public hearing to get on the P and Z agenda to set a public hearing, so. So it does happen on the P and Z side, but we don't.
is there maybe I mean, maybe it's not, you know, on the website or something like that, but could it be a monthly update, you know, X permits were
Well,
five.
there's, yeah, there's, right now P and Z is getting a listing of the building permits. Just FYI more than anything. It's not a controlling thing. It's not, it's just more FYI. We can get that same report that Renee puts in the P and Z packet. We can get our EDA packet too. It just kind of gives you a flavor of.
Yeah,
permits.
that'd
There's
be
a permit where
interesting.
the, general dollar market, you know, that's out there. The permit's been taken out for that, you know, but it's just a matter of. It's a very simplified fill in the blank.
Is there any timeline on that particular project?
They got a build, no, I don't know if they have a building permit, but there's, you see there's a lot of stakes being put on the ground.
I see some stakes in the ground.
You're talking about the Cedar Woodlands development.
No, we're talking about Dollar General.
This is a Dollar General store.
Over by Casey's.
Yeah, It's
It's gonna be,
a grocery store.
it'll be up there by
Lot
the
of
story.
merchandise.
That is not a grocery store, Dollar General's not.
There,
No,
it's
but-
not gonna be Dollar General though, it's Dollar General Market. It's the,
Oh, for heavens.
there aren't
sake.
any in northern United States. The only place I've seen them, well, I guess technically Indiana's northern. Indiana's the only place I've seen it, other than Florida,
Go.
but it's like a legit mini mart grocery store.
Gotcha.
Is that public knowledge yet? Just out of curiosity?
Well, I think there's
Now,
talk.
yeah.
There's talk of it, you know.
Okay.
But they do have a permit and they do have it staked out and.
But that's what I'm talking about. If you file for a permit, that is public information.
Yeah.
So,
We don't have that posted anywhere though. Unfortunately, we're just too small and too much going on. You
Sure.
don't have like Rochester to be able to just, we don't have a system in place for that.
yeah, I totally get it. That's why I'm asking in
We get a
court.
freedom of information request that you can do and put forth if you really, if people wanna go that far with it. But it's, like you said, it's one of those ones, usually P and Z right now, they kind of get.
Who is P and Z? You guys keep,
Oh, planning and zoning?
Zoning commission.
okay, and that's a group of citizens like us?
They meet
Two council representatives.
They meet on
Finance
the
one,
second,
P&Z.
second Thursday of the month.
So they're the ones that have this information that,
They're the one that take the information and make recommendations to council.
You don't put something up, you go to them to see if they need a variance or whatever goes on.
gotcha.
Yeah, when it comes to like
That's
a
more
new project,
residential,
Maybe
right?
the second Thursdays?
Everything.
it's everything. It's kind of like here,
What it is.
what we work on, but we work on some of the big picture ideas, whereas planning and zoning are gonna do all those nitty gritty variances and, yeah,
Okay,
all the specific details about the
Gotcha.
location.
gotcha.
I want to just clarify quick. You had said that if we wanted the information, you're recommending to file for a Freedom of Information Act to get it?
I don't quote me on, I don't know what the process is for that, but yeah, that's,
You said Renee has a report though, that
yeah,
she,
Renee.
She
usually
goes to P and Z once a month.
The,
The permit, yeah.
yeah, about the permits.
So the unique situation about, you know, because it's a B2, they're coming in as a retail, so there's not a rezoning issue. It's just a matter of them filing a building permit and doing their thing, so it's really not a. It doesn't get the public hearing awareness because it fits into the mold of, just like the Glen Coaches and the restaurant, they kind of fit that mold of rezoning of the zone, so they didn't have to have a public hearing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be
Maybe
nice
some-
to have a little bit better
Communication.
public awareness
Yeah.
of what's going on. And when do we do that? And I know that's a question I have for Hamilton, is that it's public knowledge, but I think it's community knowledge. It's just a matter of when do they wanna, we'd like to do it, but I think we need to respect their wishes too.
Absolutely. yeah.
Identify when they would like, and I haven't had that conversation, or they haven't shared it with me, or,
Well, maybe some of that, Riley, could come in requirements for signage for construction projects. You know, you see a lot of construction projects from Rochester, they got signs all over
the
the
big
place.
coming soon
Contractors,
sign.
yeah,
Finance.
that's, I'm sure they'll probably do that sometime, because they wanna advertise it and promote it too, so.
What's the date on that?
I don't have any dates, because right now we were waiting for, they're putting the preliminary plat drawings together. And that's what will generate the permitting process coming out of City Hall, and then it goes to P and Z, put on their agenda. Continues to be more covered.
The planning and zoning meeting minutes public, ours are too, right? Is that true? All of them are public?
Public, yeah.
Would it be a prudent to have it so that there's just once those minutes are created for P and Z, that we all get that email of their minutes so we can review the minutes and just be a little more in tune with, the two, not that it would take more than 5 or 10 minutes to
Mhm.
scrub their minutes, but just to be aware of the things that are going on there versus here, or I almost feel like it would be appropriate to attend their meetings or watch them online, but
We
maybe
can
that's,
certainly include their minutes in our packets.
the minutes would be, the Cliff Notes. I don't know if it's necessary or
Yeah,
not, but
yeah.
I'm interested enough to know what they're doing to help
We
better
tried.
understand what we're doing.
In order to see them, it probably just need to include the unapproved version. 'Cause they
Yeah.
don't- Sometimes they don't get approved for 2 months.
Till the following meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like what I've gotten to you guys on council this last time, just said it's the unapproved version.
Because we do this is another, we're getting staff in place to kind of get back into this process of publishing agendas on each of our community calendar events, which is what we like to do. And so that'd be the first awareness of what's out there, but there's maybe something we could do. The council packets, we talked about publishing the council packets, which has all the P and Z, knows water and sewer. We have one copy in here, but a lot of cities publish the council packet on the website. So that's something Renee and I have talked about that.
It's a process. We just got a part-time person hired this week. It's been me and Renee. There's a lot of catching up we're trying to do. So unfortunately, it's just, there's a lot on the plate to catch up with. It is a plan to do it and make sure we've got all of it there by all means. And I've updated a few things and got things on the website recently as far as getting the agendas on there at least. But the minutes just take time to type up and
Faster the meetings, the quicker the minutes.
Renee types the minutes for the meetings?
she's been alone doing it. and-
Okay, I just asked, I didn't
Yeah,
know.
it's, so like I said, we're trying to hire staff and get more people in office to help with everything.
Yeah,
So it's one of those, but we've got to get staff in, we've got to train them to do things.
yeah.
And that takes time and then get them going. I mean, it's months of process even to get them up to speed. And I mean, we're working on it.
You're making headway.
Yeah.
So in your planning and zoning, Ryland, when you, I guess to do that, if there's a variance or somebody asks, how far do you reach out? Does planning and zoning reach out if someone asks for a variance to the property owners around them,
350 feet.
350 feet around?
I think that's in, it's.
Yeah, I was curious, but Rochester goes farther than that, that's why, like in the neighborhood, in my neighborhood, if it goes to the highway, which is farther than 350 feet, that'll get me down.
That's a minimum state statute or
Could
Okay,
be
any
county
state
too.
statute, I'm not sure.
I was just curious, because if someone does that, then that also make public, if someone
I
wants.
think it's
to do
also,
something.
I think it's also in city code. The 350 feet.
You've answered my question, thank you.
Current.
All right, any other questions on current development? Beautiful. Next, we have the EDA page of the website. Currently, it just says under construction. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we will get the EDA bylaws up in there since we now have them. We will also have some information about the coming report to kind of give a little, hey, we had this community meeting, put up some photos. Let people know that the report is coming, and then as we add programming and all that kind of stuff, we will obviously add that on there. I'd also like to list your guys' names just so that people know who is on the board. And it'll have all my contact information in case somebody needs something, so we will be updating that. Once we have applications and things for programs too, there we'll be able to post them to be downloaded, available that way too, so they can fill them out.
So what's the group's thought about a Facebook page?
I have not
EDA
tried about
Facebook.
that.
We do that in other cities, so.
Typically, they just kind of go through the city webpage just because it's harder to get people to follow multiple pages, especially when it's just with the city.
Does the city have one?
Yes.
Maybe just put a link on it for the EDA.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be the thing to do.
That's another one of our staff working to improve and add to
Yep.
it, so.
Yeah, because Renee said I'll just make her a nice list and send her some stuff and she can get it updated when she gets a chance, so.
I think the website looked more professional than a Facebook page anyway, so. So, you know what I mean?
Well, I guess I haven't seen the
Facebook pages, too
Facebook
many
page.
people comment and stuff like that, so it's just kind of like, We just need a website where people can access information instead of
Mhm.
something like ignorant comments or something.
Yep.
Converse of that would be engagement, right? That, if you wanted more engagement or sharing thoughts or plans, you know, you get more engagement that way. I agree, you may not want every post or comment that people make.
That's what an administrator is for.
Yeah, they can be fun to read.
Sometimes you need that input.
So we will be working on that, just so you guys know that'll be happening all in the background. And then we've got our new item F under new business for branding.
Yes, I don't think it needs to be done in the next 3 months, but I do think we need to work towards having a very formal initiative with city branding logo. Even put together a 4-page magazine or something like that, highlighting that, so we can give that to developers or
And this
people
would
that are
be,
interested in moving or.
this would be something you would hire done outside. This isn't something you expect.
Right, yeah,
your city
a
employees
marketing
to-
agency. and
Yeah,
That would come back to the city and,
We could certainly do an RFP.
yes, or something that, yeah.
Yeah,
You think
like,
for- Oh, sorry.
oh, no, go ahead.
I didn't-
I was just suggesting we could do an RFP where we basically say, these are the things that we want done with our branding process, and then give them a date to have it back by, and all of the marketing companies that want the job will send them in, and then council could just pick what they want.
Proposal.
mm-hmm.
It's just a format of us putting together our wants, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and going out and see what other. I'm sure, have you worked with other cities that have done a marketing program?
Yeah,
Or other
actually, I
city
worked with
employees?
Casson when they did their big rebrand over there. But yeah, there's a number of companies that are local even that do that, and they will do everything from just logos to mottos and vision statements and all of that, so, yep.
Could you have a page or take a drone and take an aerial view of, so it would be in that booklet to show an aerial view, what is, can be built on, you know, I'm just saying, if you kind of do that, kind of show an aerial view of whatever.
Available
because,
property.
Because information Tom Heck, some and stuff, when they built Marketplace out there where the Lowell's and everything else is, the guy flew over in his airplane. He didn't have the develop, he did not have time to drop in, so he flew over. And they kind of laid out a spot where he could be, and he made the deal as they flew over Rochester onto it. Made the
Wow.
circle and went on to the next thing and called Tom, and I kind of laughed about when he said it, but he did it from the air, so I know that if people can kind of see a part of the town and the roadways and the traffic patterns and stuff. That might be something,
Yeah.
you're saying, to do that.
Absolutely, because like certainly, we could certainly go ahead and put on a list of, on our EDA page even, of the vacant spots that are available, because I'm sure there's infill lots that we'd love to get, throw a house on, or,
We're talking about branding,
What's that?
but we were talking about branding.
Well, branding, I think branding, and we're marketing the city, so whatever it takes. If it's
I get that, but I mean,
That's all the branding was, it's like I said, you show people why you want them here and what you have to offer to them.
Marketing,
So
yeah.
could you come back, pull together what you have,
Yeah.
what you've been involved with, or what other city representatives have been involved with, and just kind of. What does branding really mean, and how have other cities taken all the different approaches? I'm sure it's got all kinds of fingers where
Oh,
you
yeah.
take it, so.
yep.
And if you could bring back some, what people have spent
Okay,
for marketing, so I'm guessing. It's a $15,000 project, or I'm not sure what it is, I'm just.
oh yeah, it's gonna be a lot more than that.
yes.
And what grant funds?
Yep.
What opportunities can we have for funding? Because Kane Dolan is looking something very small, but in his public works world, he's looking at a minor, just City of Oracle Public Works or something, just to help his identity
Yep.
for his employees.
Mm.
Basically, it's wanting to take the minor off since Gold Rush has been separated from the city itself,
Oh,
so that's not really.
Yeah, the minor itself is trademark, so, but.
Who owns the
we've got a
trademark?
Nice river flowing through town, so we. can-
okay, Gold Rush does, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that got separated from the city.
Another good
There's
picture,
other things
another good
besides
picture of
mine.
Orinoco is the
The
bridge.
bridge.
Yeah.
The bridge view from the highway is.
Your historic, I mean, to Orinoco, you kind of bridge, you kind of got that kind of shot, whatever, I mean,
I think there's a lot of good opportunities and emphasize the small town, and here we got all this information here to glean off too, so.
Yep.
Take the positives out of that and.
Oh, yeah, I mean, and this information too, like the housing stuff, we're actually sending that to the, not now Hamilton, but those kind of things we can also share with people so that they can know what kind of housing we're looking for, what kind are they gonna be the most successful with.
The other thing I would encourage, I know in Lee County, we did a website, well, it's been several years ago, probably 10 years ago, but go look at some other economic development websites around the state, around the country, just small town ones, and some of them are pretty sophisticated.
Oh, yeah.
Really have some good ideas and, sometimes, you know, you hire the web developer, you hire the branding person, and they know so much, but if you, from our perspective, know, like, you know, the shot of the river, you know, I mean,
Mhm.
the more input, the better for
Yeah.
those kinds of things.
And a lot of times with these branding groups that come in, they will do a community meeting where people can go and put information in. They'll do obviously sit downs with city council, they'll do sit downs with the EDA, planning and zoning. They'll just try to basically get as many viewpoints as possible in and then
Go
they'll
from
come up
there,
with their pitch from there. So I will work on getting all that together and have some information for you at our next meeting.
My goal, I guess, or our goal, I guess, is just if we put together a package, and like we talked about the tax, it's just being in a position to take it to council and say, okay, this is our two opportunities or two proposals of different companies and what they offer, and let the council make those decisions, but do all the background work rather than just going to council and say,
Yeah,
council, we'd like to have a branding committee, and council says, city staff, we need a marketing program, you know, so
Right.
we're kind of in that intermediary,
Exactly.
so.
Do you think it'd be helpful to have an RFP prepared?
Yeah.
I think it
And they
would.
can
it's a
just
matter of
add
time.
to it?
Well, yeah, I think it'd be helpful to kind of have that ready to go and then, I mean, if you bring it to them and say, this is what your group worked on and what we feel they need, you know, yeah, they may want to add to it, but I mean,
Mhm.
you know, there's quite a bit of wealth of knowledge of people in this town already here. They're gonna have that good foundation for it.
Right,
So I don't know that there'll be much to add, and council's pretty receptive to the committee, so I think that once we have that, you know, let them choose a
Mhm.
finalized kind of thing, what they want, but
yeah,
having that ready to go.
because I do have some templates, so it won't take too long to put together.
Well, I think it's important to, I think this is still the, probably, if this is one, that should be 1A priority maybe.
Okay.
So I think it'd be great to wrap this up and get on to the next thing, so.
Agreed.
Good starting program, good to come up first.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a great way to be able to start out and get our game plan.
Mhm.
going.
Absolutely.
All right, so branding, any other questions, comments, concerns? Okay, old business, city email addresses, just so you know, yours is in the process, it's been requested.
Okay, and what does, you'll send me instructions once.
Yep, we'll
and
send you the instructions and the email address as soon as we get them, but we just don't have them quite yet.
No problem.
I know she's requested it though. Otherwise, our CETA annual meeting is gonna be coming up. I think you all should have gotten an email from me, to your regular emails. Letting you know about it this year. It's gonna be out in Blue Earth, May 16th.
It's in May though, right?
Yeah. No, I'm looking at August.
So in like less than a month.
Yep. It's gonna be on the 15th. So Wednesday, the 15th, and our events, typically our annual events do have a nice golfing outing included afterwards. So if you are interested in golfing, bring your clubs. It's always
Where's the
good
event
food.
Center at?
Hmm?
Where is the event center at?
In Blue Earth,
Where?
in Blue Earth,
Yes.
I would have to go to Blue Earth and I'll Google it.
Town of about 6,000 people, so it's shouldn't be too hard.
Just ask at the gathering, ask.
I was gonna say, I'll send you the invite again.
Yeah.
Well, I've only been in Minnesota for 10 years, so I'm still learning demographics, so I.
Oh, yeah, Blue Earth is about 2-hour drive.
It's the one with the Jolly Green Giant. in it.
Yeah, that's halfway between here and Sioux Falls.
Okay.
Yep.
On 90 then?
Yep, it's
No.
Yeah, right off 90.
just west Elbert, about 40 miles. Yep.
I did not realize that.
I mean, it's a tiny jaunt in from the side there, but.
Okay.
So is that,
Right,
is that,
making fun of me and you.
No.
Well, I was in Minnesota.
I just forget that people don't go on 90 past there every so often the way I do. Like, no, yeah, it's right there. What are you talking about?
All right.
You want me to find Duluth though? I'm gonna have just a moment.
Any comments about the March report? Have questions or comments? We can touch base, otherwise just give Rebecca an email for clarification on these things.
Yeah, because like, a lot of this stuff will be stuff that we've already covered in the meeting. I think the only thing that's not covered that's on here is the Compere feasibility study grant, because we haven't done anything with it yet, and sign ordinances that you had requested, and I got those sent over to you.
Yes. We should send that to send those documents to Kathy Brandt, record. She's the P and Z chairman, and I believe it's on their agenda for WSB to look at those sign ordinance. So if you want to share those examples that we collected, and they can use them for reference material, or WSB can use them for reference material. But yes, let's go ahead and send them up there. So
Okay, perfect.
what's lasso training?
You want me to copy you?
Well, I was gonna add walk on when you're done.
Oh.
What's lasso training?
Oh, Lasso training, Lasso, it's like one of those online databases where you can list properties that are available. And Lasso is like the large statewide one, so if you put anything on there, it'll mark it.
Business property, you mean?
Business properties, yep. So all commercial, yeah.
Lasso, LASSO.
is it any better or worse than LoopNet? Or
Very similar, and actually from what they said during the training, if you put it in on Lasso, they will automatically put it on LoopNet. And if you're ever interested, they do have the training available on,
So is that something city representatives are taking now, or?
yes, we all ended up, I think, taking it at some point during the last couple months, but. Yeah, anytime that I take some sort of training on programming or something like that, I'll put it on here just so that you guys know I've gained some background on that one. All right, anybody else have any new, old discussion? Or else we can,
I've got new discussion, just a question. You know, there's property over here on the, I thought it was the bridge to nowhere, but it's not, I was confused. When you go across from the online auctions, and then you go just a bit north, there's a large Morton building there that I see a for lease sign on. Do we know the status of that building? And
That used to be Antiques Orinoco. It was,
Sistine Boutique.
yeah,
I thought they,
she might have it for lease or something.
I think they got it at least, yeah.
person who lives in the house, do we ever have people that inquire about leased property in Orinoco or leasing businesses, that kind of thing? I just thought it looked like a
I've
nice.
had those owners, those people that released, they asked me about where they could move, because this is before Christmas, they were looking for different properties. They wanted to stay in Orinoco, but that lease was being, but I heard just recently now that, so I shared it with what I knew, some people that, it's very limited buildings that we have in town.
Yeah,
But I do think they got a new lease, but I'm not sure, so,
okay, well, that's good.
and once our project of data is all done, I do have it on my plan. I'll be going around to meet with all of the area local businesses so that we can put together a big compiled list of all the businesses, contact info, so that we can, anytime we issue out a program or anything like that, we can just send out a bulk email to all of our businesses and kind of keep them all in the loop together.
Didn't that used to be a building supply or
there's a Bob's Construction.
Bob's
He
Construction?
was the leasing.
Okay,
But going back to Paul, it was originally an antique store, and the gentleman was very, Gordon,
Bernie was killed in an accident on the way home.
so as you walk outside the building, we have a Gordon, how you pronounce his last name? Caribou?
Yeah, careful.
Caribou, yeah. So there's every year we give out an award to Outstanding Citizen of the Year. And so we started that here, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years ago. There's a plaque for every year.
Yeah,
And that's right there on the hallway as you walk out. the building.
Okay.
So, and that's his memory of him and what he contributed to the city and Gold Rush and
oh, I
antique
bet,
stores.
yeah, nice,
So, nice memorial to him, and we honor it every year with an outstanding citizen, so.
that's great.
It's usually single people. We did have a couple here a couple years ago, Parkers at BFW, so,
Mm.
all right. Anything else?
Go for it.
All right.
What's that?
He's been debating.
I've been debating. Like, so I kind of talked with her about this, coming in here, this is the first business as you will that I've worked with that maybe I've missed it around, but I don't know that we do a vision or mission statement for this city. And as an EDA, I think you guys are a perfect group to kind of help form that. So I'd like to put it before you guys to help start thinking of a vision and mission statements for the city that will help guide us as we come into putting together a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, things like that, help give us guidance. You know, the vision statements here and now, our mission statement is our future as to where we want to go. But again, I think that's gonna be an integral part of your guys' area to help with that. So I think that it would be good for you guys to start working on that as a group and, you know, with assistance or however you need to, but I'd like to have you guys, in my opinion, I think it'd be great for you guys to do
Yeah,
that.
it definitely would be a
Sitting right here, it's.
An aspect of our
We can
branding
get together.
Yeah, and that goes with the
Done.
rebranding.
Done.
It's all kinds of, you know, things that go together, but I think this group would be perfect for taking that on. So if that's something you guys wanna do, I'd be happy for it. It's been on the back of my mind for the last few weeks, so as we've talked to rebranding and other stuff, just trying to figure out how that would play in, so.
Absolutely.
good input, thank you.
I will put that on our list of fun things to work on.
A question for this because of the sewer plant getting up and running and doing things. Behind gas and go in different places. I see over here at, they've got the big drain fields and stuff for their septic systems for these big places. Are developers or people, because they're in that subdivision up there, is that something that when they tear that out, they would open that property up for houses? In other words, to be built back in that area? I mean, when you take it out, when the sewer gets going, there's a big area for the drain field with the white fences across the road and over here.
Do that?
Well, once they're up to the sewer, that you gotta take your tanks out. It's mandatory, you take tanks out or fill them up, and so that land is no longer a drain field, you don't need it as a drain field. So therefore, it can be developed, and I'm just curious, is if people, and I don't know who owns the property, it'd be that whole,
The city owns one of the.
City owns, and
okay, just my question, if the city owns it, is
Yeah,
that
that's a
something
big chunk.
that you would open up, that property to develop?
several of them,
Just my question.
like in River Park, there's a drain field that the city owns that.
Cedar Woodland or Riverwood Hills has got one.
And Riverwood Hills, all of those drain fields are in the parkland. So all of those, when those are decommissioned, the city can decide what to do with them. And you can just start generating a list too of what you want. You can sell them, like lots. You gotta maybe have to work with the drain pipes that are underground, we're down about 4 feet. Contract would have to take those out. There are some tanks, but we have bonding bill money to either take the tanks out or crush them, fill them with sand, decommission them.
Great spot for.
So there's a lot of different opportunities with all of our drain fields, and it's gonna take some work by council, and that's probably gonna be. Cause they're gonna start decommissioning those tanks here in the next month or so. So
And digging them out?
Has anybody looked at
in
it?
some cases digging them out or just cutting open and filling up. with
If you
things.
crush them, then the next person that comes to the land, he's gonna dig them out anyway, so I'm taking mine out, they're just gonna. Yeah, but anyway, just the city owns that land,
Mhm.
and so for EDA to look at some things, to get some money back, the tax base going back in to sell it, or to be able to maybe talk someone into building something there, or whatever, that's my thought process, that's EDA, that's city owned, and so that's kind of a
Oh, yeah, that's opportunity.
opportunity it's a starting point for the city to show that you're moving forward with something and showing how it works.
So
in the
like-
future. I mean, it's down the road, but it's just my thought process.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a lot of opportunities and it's just a matter of taking the time and effort to put into doing something like that. But yeah, they're all owned by city. There's only one private one and that's one over in Cedar Woodlands. And it's all part of the Hamilton,
You're with us up in this area?
little curve. You see the curve up there and that right there? No, you just point your finger at it right there. That's a drain field. For Cedar Woodlands too, so we're in the process now. Because the Cedar Woodlands two, which is about 14 homes, they have that. They have that drain field and that, because now they are hooked to the city system. So that drain field is transferred to the city by agreement, so now the developer wants to buy that little piece of
Yep.
1.27 acres.
Yep.
So we're looking at getting an appraisal. And we'll sell that at whatever market value or whatever the value the council ultimately decides to the developer. But I think that's the only one that's really on private.
Well, isn't, Ryland, there's that one right across the street from the sisters. Is that private? What is that?
Well, that's owned by Tom Gathier,
Okay,
but that'll be decommissioned.
that'll be decommissioned and hook up gas and go and, yeah, that stuff.
And there'll be sometime maybe this summer when the sisters open.
He'll have his, that's his.
They
property.
petitioned to open that, to be connected, so that'll be connected too, so. So there's 2.6 acres there that the city could buy it, make it a park and ride, whatever, there's a lot of different opportunities for us. It's
Is
those
the-
kinds of things that are gonna take time to
Mhm.
work on, and so.
Is there a large piece of property down here along the river that's for sale and has been? It used to be
Well, the junkyard,
yeah, what's the story on that?
it's in the township,
Okay,
It's not-
also it's not in
it's
Orno.
not ours, no, it's a
Okay.
township, so.
It's all floodplain.
And it's in the floodplain.
When it's all floodplain, when the river comes up, that's
It
all
goes.
totally underwater.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of discussion going on about that property now. Appears to be somebody has purchased it, but I'm not sure they're gonna keep it in the same zoning, and that's a township issue, and I don't know all the
Okay,
details, so.
it's not. in
I see some
Orno.
people down there the other day, they were in the doors and things opened up. So
Yeah,
they're doing
FYI, I'm experienced.
township is very good. They're looking at it, so.
It's one of the fun ones.
All right,
Motion to
further
adjourn.
comments?
Second.
You're heady on that one.
Motion, second, 8:45. 7:45.
7:45.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Thank you, everybody. Good meeting.
Next one will be May 28th. See you all then. As per usual, don't hesitate to let me know if you need anything.
What day of the week do you come in again?
Typically Thursdays,